I am a recovering lawyer and an art historian, and when I left private practice over 20 years ago, I knew I had a love of art and I wanted to combine it with my legal experience. So in creating the art of perception, I train leaders around the world across professions to enhance observation, perception, communication, and problem-solving skills. And specifically in the financial services industry, it's not just about transactional work, it's about human work. You're working with people and you're working across cultures. And so I leverage looking at works of art to think about not just the transactional work, but how do we see, and most importantly, how do we communicate what our vision and strategy are. I think of art as putting us all at ground zero. None of the people that I work with are art historians. None of them look at art for a living, but art is the great equalizer. If I put up a painting or a sculpture, everybody sees something. And I think one of the most valuable things to take away from looking at art as a group and individually is no two people see anything the same way. And while that's fine in my session, what happens in the boardroom, the courtroom, the trading floor, you have to remember that no two people see anything the same way in any guise. And so by participating in my program, people take that idea of multiple perspectives away with them, and they realize what a powerful tool that can be. Well, when I left the law, frankly, there was family pressure saying, what do you mean you're going to leave the law? And I thought there has to be a way to combine legal analysis and visual analysis and make it marketable and useful. And so the legal analysis comes in using both sides of our brain to think about all different positions. But when we look at art, I've learned through talking to neuroscientists that the brain responds to looking at works of art in a way that it doesn't to any other stimuli. And so by looking at works of art, you're engaging in your brain in a different way than when you're looking at transactional work or doing something every day. So by making people use different brain cells, for lack of a better way, and then come back to their work, my hope and my observation is that they see things differently after spending time looking at art with me. I have this kind of definition, it's sort of a vast definition for visual intelligence. It's seeing what's there that other people don't, seeing what's not there that other people should, seeing the positives, the negatives, the upside, the warning sign, the quickest way, the fastest way, and the win. And so that's sort of my description of what visual intelligence is. And then I let the participants apply those to what's most useful in their world. So in alternative investments, as I said, you're dealing with transactions, you're dealing with markets, you're dealing with watching markets, you're watching products, and you also have to be aware of your time, human, and financial resources. And I show them some pretty complex works of art. People say, well, I don't know what I'm looking at. I said, well, how do you look at the painting that we're looking at here? How do you begin to take this apart? And sometimes when you're dealing with complex transactions, you have to do the same thing. So I found the skills are readily applicable. So in the session that I just led, I told them from the get-go that they don't need their screens, they don't need their laptops, and to just look up with me. And there were no charts, numbers, bullet points in my presentation, and I'm asking them to look in a way that most of their competitors don't think about looking. Everything is data-driven, everything is on the screen, everything is in the email. But if you do the simple act of looking up and talking about what you see, and then bring that back to the data, it gives you a whole other field of vision that I think can provide a competitive edge. And also saying to your colleagues, explain to me what you see, because I don't follow you. And you force other people to be articulate and communicative, and I think that gets us out of this data-driven world and just adds a whole other level of perspective. Given what everybody is thinking about now with AI, as AI is crashing down the door, to remember the very simple, I don't want to call it a quiet subtext, but to remember two things: that everyone sees things differently, and that a pair of human eyes attached to a human brain is still more powerful than AI. AI can do so much and in so many different fields, but to remember that the human eye is attached to the human brain can see detail and nuance in a way that AI can't. And we still have to check AI. We can use it as a starting point, but to remember that our visual intelligence has a lot of power and a lot of value when we choose to use it, both for ourselves and for our teams and our colleagues. So I think going into the future where AI, as I said, is crashing down the door and brings a lot of good with it, to remember the value, don't always default to the data. Don't always default to the findings of the data, because the human eyes attached to the human brain still carry a tremendous amount of power. And I'm teaching people to sharpen those skills, to use them in addition to all the technology that's coming out.